It's Belgian Grand Prix week here on Apex Racing TV, and what better way to whet your appetite for the big day on Sunday than with an appetizer, the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Hello everybody, my name is Andrew Woodhouse and I'll be bringing you all the action here from the 3 rounds tonight, rounds 64, 65 and 66 of the 2018 season. Sam Kumo will be providing the cameras for you as well. We're here. Qualifying is finished, and Nicole Foggy, who's currently second in the championship, is the man who's on provisional pole position. In fact, on his pole position, because I think everybody has completed their laps. 2 minutes 26.96 is his time. He's second in the championship because Stephen Baxter still leads the way by 24 points. Dave Baker is in third, Pete Harrod fourth, and Wojciech Svidovic in fifth. In the AM standings, Kip Stevens leads the way with Rusty Laidler in second. Kip Stevens has a 219-point lead there ahead of Laidler. Mark Woodhouse in third, Chris Wood in fourth, and Maciej Sakovic in fifth. And over in the teams championship then, CQR are the ones with the advantage. 1,500 points ahead of NLR GT Omega, who actually have 3 drivers in the top 7 positions in the championship. Apex Racing in third, Team Mad in fourth, and they're also leading the Pro-Am category. The CQR Academy in fifth. We're just waiting for the qualifying to tick over, and then we can bring you today's grid. And it should be an exciting one here in the middle of the Ardennes Forest, with all the drivers vying for positions in the showdown. That is what it's all about here. 12 showdown positions for the pros, and 3 wildcards will be given to those with the most wins. Ash Sutton looks like he's going to take one of those wildcard spots at the moment, and he lines up second on the grid behind Nicole Foggy. Ross McFarlane is third, David Baker fourth, Wojciech Svidovic in fifth, Hideko Lopez in sixth, Sven Glatzel seventh, George Simmons eighth, Christian Rose in ninth, and Pete Harrod in 10th. Michael Hall is 11th, ahead of Pete Newman. And then in the on the 7th row is Diogo Melro, with Nathan Davies in 14th, and then Alex Simpson 15th, Adam McNally 16th, 17th for Rusty Laidler, 18th Ronald Moons, 19th Paul Smith, 20th Michael Davies, Colin Cunniff 21st, Mark Johnson 22nd, 23rd Brian Holmes, 24th William Daniels, 25th Mark Woodhouse, Michael Blake in 26th, Maciej Sakovic 27th, 28th is Craig Williams, then Jesper Driliska in 29th, and then Kip Stevens in 30th, Robert Graham 31st, Morgan Butler 32nd, a new entry to the series, Scott Malcolm in 33rd, 34th Lee Deemer, 35th Jack Sedgwick, then Jack McIntyre in 36th, 37th for Jamie Rushworth, former champion, Jake Blackhall 38th, 39th Chris Wood, 40th Stephen Baxter, championship leader, he's got a lot to do from there, Daniel Brown in 41st, 42nd Martin Front, 43rd Nicola Francis Burns, and then Mark Westwood in 44th, and 45th is Craig Evans. Just about ready for the start here at Spa. 30 seconds to go. We're just waiting for a couple of drivers to make their way onto the grid. Got to watch the run into La Source, but most importantly, the driver who goes through La Source first isn't necessarily going to reach Lecombe first, because it's a long slipstreaming section once you've gone through Eau Rouge, which can be, and Radion, of course, which could be treacherous in these Kia Optimas on the first lap. We've seen that before, so don't be surprised to see a couple of drivers losing control there. Here we go then. 5 red lights above the drivers. Lights are out. It's time to race at Spa. Here comes Foggy. Off the line decently. Ashley Sutton's got a fantastic start, and the British Touring Car Champion looks to the inside. He then moves to the outside for La Source, and he loses control on the way in. Really sliding the car. And almost with a lot of problems, Ash Sutton into the first corner, but he survives. And we're on the way down the hill towards the famous Eau Rouge Radion section. Here we go, up the hill. This is very, very difficult on the first lap in these Kia Optimas. And I think everyone has just about made it through. Well done. 44 drivers have done it. Might be a slight problem for Mark Johnson. I think he's run a bit wide, but I think everybody else is okay. And Ash Sutton goes around the outside of Nico Foggy into Lecombe, and he takes the lead for CQR. It's brilliant from Sutton. He really went on the offensive early, caught Foggy a little bit napping around the outside. Tremendous move there. Foggy tried to defend, but there was nothing he could do. Now he needs to stop Sutton doing what he did in Okayama, which is stay within touching distance over the first couple of laps, and then go off into the distance as he kept his tyres in good condition. So it's Sutton from Foggy, then it's Foggy's teammate Ross McFarlane, then it's Dave Baker, former champion of Season 7, and then it's Wojciech Savidovic, and then it's Hideko Lopez, who's also won a title. Savidovic has won 3 of them. Here's a tremendous lineup. Simmons, Glatzel, Harrod and Rose. It's like an all-star cast out there in the BSRTC in 2018. Lots of big names, some returning. Rushworth and Lopez. In fact, the only champions that we don't have on the grid are Andreas Katz and Sebastian Job as well of the main championship, and Jamie Fluke of the Winter Series. But we may see Jamie Fluke come the end of the season. We have seen him in previous seasons at the end of the year. Now Foggy has closed the gap down to just a quarter of a second into Blanchimont. Sutton sounded like he was sliding through there. It's not going to help his run into the bus stop chicane. Foggy, is he going to have a look? No, he doesn't. He just sits in behind, and he maybe realises that the Kemmel Straight is possibly the best place to overtake. Ross McFarlane is keeping a watching brief on Foggy as well. McFarlane's championship has been very good. He sits 6th, the 3rd of the GT Omega cars in the top 6 for Northern Lights Racing. They've also got the Scuderia Haggis team, 21st, 24th and 25th for their first 3 drivers. So that's pretty decent as well. CQR have 2 cars in the top 6, Dave Baker and Pete Harrod. Jamie Rushworth in 7th. He knows how to put a championship together as well. A couple of drivers going slightly off the track, but nothing major it seems at the moment. Everybody's still going, so terrific work by all the drivers then in the first couple of laps. So I don't think we've seen any crashes. And that, I think, that might be a first for the BSRTC, that there's no first lap crashes. A few drivers going off. Hideko Lopez then was up to 5th briefly, but Dave Baker has then gone in front of him. I think Baker would let him go through, wouldn't you, and take that 6th place. George Simmons in 7th as well. He's just gone up to 6th, in fact, past Hideko Lopez. So Simmons into the top 6 for Apex Racing. So it's 2 NLR cars, 2 CQR cars, and 2 Apex Racing cars in the top 6. It's all very close here. Spa, the first race is 20 minutes timed, and then we'll get lap numbers for the rest of it. So the other 2 races tonight. So stick with us here on Apex Racing TV. Please join us in the YouTube chat if you are interested. Leave us a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about our coverage and what we can do better, or what you do like. It's important as well. Sutton then into the bus stop chicane for the 2nd time. This time his advantage is slightly more comfortable over Ash Sutton. Ross McFarlane's just kind of an equal distance behind. Dave Baker is kind of there as well. Koba Lopez now down to 8th behind Sven Glatzel. And the Vodafone car under a lot of pressure now. He's got the Vortex. He's in the Vortex team. And that's how Sven Glatzel went up the inside into the bus stop chicane. Took that position away from Hideko Lopez. Wojciech Savidovic goes quite wide at the top of Radion, but here comes Nicole Foggy. Then Sutton could not cover the inside line. We'll have the outside for Lacombe. It depends how late on the brakes he wants to be. You have to get up pretty early in the morning to get past Ash Sutton on the brakes, and Foggy has done it. That's a tremendous move by the Scotsman, and he takes the lead of the race. Fantastic job by Foggy. That's a terrific job by him. Goes into the lead, but now, as many know in this series and in other series, Ash Sutton's very, very tough to keep behind. He's so good on the brakes on a consistent basis. He's not afraid to throw the car up the inside. But Nico Foggy is a world GT champion. He knows how to put these seasons together. And this is a great opportunity for maximum points, especially given the fact that his main rival, Stephen Baxter, is right down the order. Baxter, who started 40th, he's actually down to 42nd, and Sutton trying to go around the outside in the Fanias chicane, and that will become the inside for the second part. But then it will switch back. It will turn back to Nico Foggy for Stavolo, but I think Sutton has cleared him, and as Sutton goes through with a really good move through a really, really good sequence of corners at Fanias, and now through curve Paul Frere. This battle will continue, I feel, for most of the duration of the 20 minutes. Sutton does tend to have a very wide Kia Optima out there. Sometimes a little too wide for his own good, as we saw in Belle Isle. Nice to judge braking there by the lot of them, though. Nobody really missing the corner. Just have a look at the biggest movers out there, and the title of biggest mover belongs at the moment to Jack Sedgwick. He started in 35th. He's up to 25th. See the battle that Jack Sedgwick is currently in as well. P25. On board then with the with Jack Sedgwick, the Apex Racing car. Through Eau Rouge, then chasing down Kip Stevens, the AM leader in front of him. You've got to be careful you don't get a slowdown. It is possible at the top of the hill there. And again, the battle for the lead is very, very close indeed, and Foggy has regained it. Sutton might try and fight back into Rivage. It's very difficult to get an overtaking move done here, even for Ash Sutton on the outside. Virtually impossible because of the way the track drops away. But you know what? He's kept... Oh, no, he hasn't quite kept the overlap. Just clear. Side by side between Simmons and Baker for P5 as well, just behind them. Coming out of the corner with no name. Baker on the inside, but I think Simmons has this one done. Baker's going to try and fight back into Pouon. A very fast left-hander. Double apex. Second part is really easy flat, but the first part, not so much. Do have to have a downshift. Maybe two in this car, actually, depending on how hot it is out there. Baker then fights back. Simmons still on the outside. There's a bit of rubbing. They trade some paint on the left side of Baker's car, the right side of Simmons. And into Stavolo. Look, they're almost mirror to mirror. Simmons trying to get out of it. I don't think he really wants to go through curve Paul Frere side by side. He's not side by side with Baker anymore. But here comes Sven Glatzel, the German driver. He's trying to go through as well. The man competing for NLR GT Omega himself. Currently way down in 20th in the standings, so he needs race wins at this stage in the season in order to be able to get into the showdown positions and assert his authority on the championship. And now he's trying to assert his authority on George Simmons. That involves going up the inside into the bus stop chicane. He's round the outside now at the second part. He's on the AstroTurf. That will compromise his traction slightly. And Simmons now has the wider line for La Source, but here comes Sutton and Foggy again going in. Simmons trying to go around the outside in La Source. He might be able to get this one done, you know, although he's going to have the outside for the more difficult part of Eau Rouge here. He might clear him, though. He may clear Glatzel into the bottom of the hill. He does. You can see that this train stretches back to Alex Simpson in 14th place. Seems like a couple of drivers have had a small issue. Mike Westwood has had one as well. Nicola Francis Burns has had an incident as well. Still going, no retirements so far in the race. Sutton still leads. Now Foggy and McFarlane are going to be side by side. And here comes Wojciech Svidovic. He's not shy at getting into a bit of the action as well. Svidovic trying to trying to assert himself on McFarlane here. Trying to go around the outside of the NLR car. Oh, and that's very close. Dave Baker's broken away from George Simmons. You can see him just in the background, but Svidovic trying to go around the outside into Pouon. If he can keep it on the track, he may just get this move done. Wojciech Svidovic, and the 3-time champion, makes it through. Tremendous job by Wojciech Svidovic there with the number 1 on his car. And that sort of move in a corner like Pouon really shows why he is that 3-time champion and he has the number 1 plate on the car. Sutton still leads. Good defensive action from him to even stay remotely close in this battle. And Jacobo Lopez trying to go down the inside of Sven Glatzel, but what it does mean is that he's prey to Pete Harrod now, and car 6, the CQR club car. It's a great run on him. And he's surely going to have a look into Blanchimont. He's got Christian Rose of CQR Academy and Michael Hall of the full team just behind. Glatzel twitches through Blanchimont. I think he hit the curb very hard. That might mean that Lopez has half a chance. And he goes. He's having a look. There's a Spaniard into the first part. You see the rear wheel of the Kia Optima just lifting up slightly as he takes the right-hand part of the chicane. Out of there goes Glatzel, still ahead of Lopez. Doesn't really know what to do because Lopez will have a go, and he snakes the Kia Optima into the source. Back end moving around like a MotoGP bike on old tyres. He tried his best to get it in there, but again he's lost out. He's making these moves, he's not making them stick, and I think he's dropped down nearly every time he's trying to make a move, and it looks like he's kind of pressing out there to get more moves done as the race goes on. The lead's changed hands again. They're side by side. Foggy's trying to go up the inside this time. Sutton and Foggy, very, very good clean racing between the two so far. Through Malmedy, they're going to go side by side here again. Sutton is left enough space on the outside. Foggy trying to throw it into reverse. Sutton very late on the brakes, but that does mean a lot of understeer. It's not a good corner for going in deep. You do not want to go in too deep in there because will mean that you've got no real chance when you exit into the corner with no name. Here comes Foggy again. Is he going to have a look into Pouon? This has been one of the most furious race 1 battles we've seen in some time. And it's playing out between 2 of the finest drivers in the series. And in fact, there's 2 more just behind Svidovic and McFarlane. They're about to be joined by a 5th in Dave Baker. Alex Simpson's up to 12th. He's the biggest mover inside the top 15, up 3 places. Jack Sedgwick has gained 6 more places since we last checked in on him, and he's in 19th place. Craig Williams is up to 21st from 28th on the grid. And also gaining 7 places are Jack McIntyre, Daniel Brown and Martin Front. Just over 5.5 minutes to go here at Spa. This is the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship on Apex Racing TV. Andrew Woodhouse with you and Sam Kumo on the cameras, bringing you all the frantic action from race 1 of the evening. Round 64 of the season. We're on board with Nico Foggy, a man who's got 2 wins already in 2018. He wants a 3rd one desperately. He has been on the podium 12 times. Will it be a 13th? You can see him, you can hear him looking after the tyres coming out of the slow corners. He knows that he doesn't want to spin those up too much and lose traction for the end of the race. We have lost a car. We've lost Mark Westwood. We might have lost Morgan Butler as well. Could potentially be a 2nd retirement from the race. But I think that's all they're the only 2 that we have lost so far. Craig McLeod-Evans, I don't think he took the start. But yeah, everybody being really well behaved. It's a track that most people know well. And here comes the battle for the lead again. Sutton versus Foggy, round 75. Into Lacombe and through Malmedy now, and Sutton driving around the outside. And taking that place. What a great battle. And look at David Baker as well. We know how good he is on his tyres. So it would not surprise me if he can take some positions as we go on. Wojciech Svidovic and Ross McFarlane, they just haven't quite been able to really get close and make a move. Make a move on the top two at least. As going side by side through Pouon is Josh Timmons and Sven Glatzel. Don't know what's going to come of that. Oh, and Daiko Lopez was thinking about making it 3 wide there. Oh, I tell you what, that's very, very close to a quarter panel. Simmons tries to throw it into Stavolo, tries to get one back on the GT Omega driver, but Sven Glatzel, or the NLR driver, sorry, I keep calling them GT Omega, but it's NLR with GT Omega. There did used to be a GT Omega team in this series, of course, a couple of seasons ago. And this is a very, very close battle. This could well be the last lap. It's going to be, sorry, not the last lap, the second to last lap. We could get a white flag. It's going to be close, though. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be. I think we'll get 2 more. It's 2 minutes. Oh, I don't know. It's 2 minutes 29 round here. I think we're going to get 2 more. So it's 2 minutes 31 to go when Ash Sutton crossed the line. So yeah, who knows? It's going to be pretty close. We've got 5 cars for the lead. We've got 5 cars for the battle for 6th down to 10th. And then we've got another 3 or 4 cars trying to hang on in the background. And they include Diogo Melro, Alex Simpson, Pete Harrod, Pete Newman and Rusty Laidler. Who's doing rather better than he did in a VLN race where he left his pit limiter button unmapped. And ended up having to drive around the circuit on the limiter at 60 miles an hour for a whole lap. Oh, that's super close, isn't it? Foggy trying to get the lead back from Ash Sutton. These two are just really having an absolute classic out there. This is one of the best battles for the lead I've seen on Apex Racing TV. It still carries on. I need to make sure I've got enough voice left for the last lap. I'm sure we're going to see something. We usually do. Baker just edging out of the slipstream. So just have a little look at McFarlane. I think Colin Cunniff's crashed. Let's see what happened to Colin Cunniff. I think he's dropping down the order. Here's the replay. Another Northern Lights racing car. He's on the outside. Oh, well. He's on the outside of the Vortex. Is that a Vortex car? I think it was a Vortex car. Who is it? 170. Not 170. It's the other one. Who's the other one there? Car 10. Number 10 is Craig Williams, and Williams either didn't see Cunniff or what? I've no idea. But into the barrier he goes, and I'm sure the Scotsman's not going to be happy about that. Now, here we go. Oh, a little nudge into the, and then we've got Newton's Cradle going on as they all run into each other slightly. But we are going to get another lap. 7 seconds to go. Here we go then for another 2.5 minutes. Round the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. 1 lap to go. Sutton, Foggy, Suridovic, McFarlane and Dave Baker. This is the top 5. This is the battle for the race win. Fastest man on the track last time round was Jack Sedgwick, 229.04. Continuing his ascension from 35th on the grid up to 18th at the minute. But yeah, Sutton's actually stretched out a tiny bit of an advantage now, 3/4 of a second. Let's see how much of that Nico Foggy can pull back over this down the Kemmel Straight. But Wojciech Svidovic is having other ideas. He's trying to go up the inside into Lecombe. They're both going to be late on the brakes here. And they're still side by side. Svidovic has more momentum for the first part. Foggy might be able to get momentum for the second part, but it's quite dirty offline there. A lot of marbles. And I think that will mean that that means that Svidovic goes up in second place. And here's McFarlane and Dave Baker going at it. Baker trying to go around the outside in reverse. I've said how difficult that move is. And yeah, he's there. He's got an overlap. That means that McFarlane has to leave him a bit of room. Oh, and he's clear, McFarlane. Brilliant. He got good momentum through Connor with no name. And then into Pouon, he stays in front. Sutton now has a good advantage. He's got nearly 1 second. I wonder if that's going to be enough. Because, I mean, it's likely that it will be. Savidovic. Oh, here comes Baker and McFarlane again. They're still side by side. Through Fanyes and into Stavolo. McFarlane has the inside line for Stavolo. Baker's going to try and go all the way around the outside. Outside of Paul Frere could be tough because you do have to... You cannot go full throttle through there if you are on the outside. Oh, he's done it beautifully as Baker. Good defence from McFarlane. It might not be enough. Sutton's got enough of a gap. He should take the win barring any mistakes. Simmons and Glatzel are going hell for leather, but here comes Baker against Sutton going very wide through Blanchimont, missing the corner. And into the bus stop chicane then. Well, he started second, Ash Sutton. And after an epic battle with Nico Foggy, he comes through and will take the checkered flag to win here at Spa-Francorchamps. He wins round 64 of the season, ahead of Savidovic, who gets second place on the final lap. And then Foggy in third, Baxter and McFarlane. What a battle, what a race. And if that is anything to go by, the rest of the evening should be fantastic. Still battling away down there. Michael Blake, Jack McIntyre, Maciej Sakovic, that's very close into the look at that in the background. That is very, very close indeed. It is Blake, then McIntyre, then Rushworth, then Sakovic. That was brilliant. And let's see who's coming across now. Scott Malcolm has just come across, Francis Burns, Moons, Jalika. And then we're just waiting on Conniff and Dean Lopez has stopped. Yeah, is that fuel, Sam? Would that be fuel? Let's see. He has just stopped out there on the course. I wonder if that is fuel for Adaicoba Lopez. And you know what? That would not surprise me because we did actually effectively do an extra lap, didn't we? Because of the... Yeah, it's fuel. It's fuel. Because we crossed the line with 7 seconds to go. Some people would have gone very marginal on the fuel. And it looks like the Spaniard was one of them. But the funny thing is, as a result of that, he's going to get a chance at the reverse grid pole because he was only 1 lap down, along with Adam McNally and Mark Johnston. So it might work out okay for Lopez in the end, even if it didn't work out well in this particular race. Right then, that was an eventful one. And round 64 has passed us by now. And what a race it was. And the results will be on your screen right now. Ash Sutton takes the win, and really that's one of the hardest race wins that he's ever probably had to take in the BSRTC. Wojciech Savidovic in second, Nico Foggy third. What a fight Foggy put up. He was on pole, and yeah, that was one that could have gone either way. Dave Baker in fourth, Ross McFarlane in fifth, Sven Glatzel P6 ahead of George Simmons, Michael Hall, Diogo Melro and Alex Simpson into the top 10. Pete Harrod, 11th, Christian Rose in 12th, 3 CQR academies in a row with Newman and Laidler, Sedgwick in 15th ahead of Davies, and then the other Davies, Michael, then Brian Holmes in 18th, 19th for Woodhouse, and then Stevens in 20th, Daniels, Williams, Smith, Blake, McIntyre, Rushworth, Sakovic, Blackhall front, and then Wood, Baxter, Brown, Graham, Malcolm, Francis Burns, Moons. And then behind Ronald Moons was Jesper Dralica, Lee Deemer, Colin Cunniff, Adaicoba Lopez, as we saw, ran out of fuel, as did, and well, I don't know if the other two ran out of fuel, but they definitely retired. They were definitely 1 lap down, Adam McNally and Mark Johnston. And the 3 retirements on the evening were Morgan Butler, Mark Westwood, and Craig Evans didn't take the start. Okay, right, it's time for the reverse grid wheel. And Sam, for the first time, you're going to get to decide the driver's fate, so I'm sure they're all quaking in the boots.
Yeah, spin the wheel and let's see. It was a really great race, so interesting to see how the second one is going to turn out, because usually these reverse grids provide plenty of excitement. And we will get number 30.
So number 30 is going to be Chris Wood. So he's going to go on to pole for Team Mad. I'm sure he'll enjoy that, with Martin Front in second, Jake Blackhall in third, Maciek Sakovic fourth, and Jamie Rushworth in fifth. So join us back here after the break here on Apex Racing TV, and we'll see more from the BSRTC at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps.
Richard Warmingham. Currently, Evdoka's just a little bit ahead of him. Warmingham does take that lead, and it's going to be awkward for these final few corners. Warmingham floors it. He's away quick. Evdoka actually gets a pretty good run, but he's not going to be able to challenge across the start-finish line, just behind Steve Labelli. Under pressure from Stuart McFadden already, but it's Warmingham away well from the pole position. Evdoka challenging into turn one, and Labelli having to go defensive against McFadden. McFadden looking to the inside. Could there be contact between these two? Not quite, but he's going to have to go defensive once again. Ayres just watching, just behind. Jamie Ayres could not quite take that. Stuart McFadden nearly took third position at the start of the race, but they're losing each other a lot of time now. And the top three pulling away up ahead. Ayres, though, is just concentrated on trying to make this move. He's gone to the outside, maybe came to a little bit of a dummy to the inside. Not quite. McFadden couldn't shove him off the circuit though, and round the outside goes Ayres. He just wants the cut back now, but they get on the power at a similar time. Slightly better traction there for Jamie Ayres, and McFadden is squeezing him right to the wall. That was good defense from Stuart McFadden. Ayres to the outside gain as the track narrows. Down the hill they go. A little bit deep on the brakes perhaps as McFadden, but there's not too much you can do on the exit of this corner because you're straight into the next complex. It's very much single file here, but Ayres goes into the back of McFadden ever so slightly, but that was nice defense from McFadden.
Quick glance at the front of the Mercedes, looks okay, as I think that is a dive bomb there. We see Cullinan on the inside of Malcolm. BMW against Mercedes, and he makes the move.
Another one coming up, Colin Robinson, and here we go side by side. McFadden on the outside, Ayres on the inside. It's going to be switched around though this time. Ayres has got to try to just hold it round the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next one, but can he just stay level? Yes, he can, Stuart McFadden. That is brilliant driving there to just get his nose ahead, and he's going to have the inside as well into this hairpin. This is the great racing you can get around Motegi. Can he just push Ayres off? He tries to, and they make contact. That could have been a whole lot worse. Ayres may still even have the inside for the hairpin, but he really got his run compromised by that move from McFadden. Evdoka in the slipstream, just watching behind as the other XVR driver of Steve Labelli. Evdoka will look to the inside, and he's gonna maybe have his nose cut off a little bit. Warmingham leaves too much space, and Evdoka is gonna have the inside for this next corner. No, he's not. The run from Warmingham was just about good enough. He's gonna have to go defensive once again here. Evdoka flashing his lights, and he's gone to the inside here. Warmingham round the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next one, and he almost runs off the circuit now. Evdoka side by side. He's going to have the inside for the next corner, and that should be job done for Michael Evdoka. That's a perfect move. Really driving well there, Michael, and he's into the race lead.
Everybody has joined this fight for fourth place, and I think the sooner Ayres can pass McFadden, the better for him, because otherwise these guys will go to town and try to make moves left and right. Great defending there, once again, almost 3 wide going to the hairpin now.
Oh, Ayres nearly into the back of him. I think that Ferrari has a nice little bit of straight line speed, doesn't it, which just allows him to fend off any attack. That is a surprise though from Ayres, and he's trying to go for it at a corner that you would not dream of doing it, and it's going to leave him vulnerable now to Lane O'Connor. He's trying to move through. Cullinan nearly loses it in the background. Malcolm as well. Robinson trying to get involved. For now, it seems like McFadden's going to be fine. O'Connor to the inside of Jamie Ayres. The two Mercedes side by side, and they've made contact, and Ayres has lost 2 positions in a couple of corners. Yeah, the amount of cones dispatched there. Oh dear. Oh, down the inside. Oh wow, that was a nice attack from Ez, and it's put Robinson off. That was brilliant from Jamie Ez. That was a really nice little tactic to just glance to the inside, and he's got the power through this turn 6, and he's going to be able to pull ahead.
You see, Ayres is very, very close, but he's a little bit scared, I think, because it might happen that O'Connor car can glitch.
Oh, inside of him.
Inside, yeah. That's a way to make a pass.
Deliberate, was it?
Oh man, he went straight through him and got the. Maybe that was the only way somebody could pass McFadden tonight, because he's making that Ferrari very, very large. Let's see a replay.
This must have been a mistake. Yeah, that was so a mistake. That was not a deliberate move. McFadden, though, could get pushed off a little bit.
Probably will not hit you, as Cullinan goes once again very wide there at the final corner, but I think he got a bit scared, because you see this car in the rearview mirror, it's suddenly so big. As he goes for a move on turn 1, he says, you are... Oh, the touch!
Ez goes through. Ambitious move from a long way back into turn 1, and he was a long way back. Yeah, it's very clumsy there from Stewart. Yeah, it wasn't even on the brakes, was it? He was just a bit too eager to get on the throttle. He's been bang on. Malcolm, just watching this, he's not going to get involved in any unnecessary collisions. That's been his tactic for the entire season. And how has that profited him, Marco?
I had talked to him after last week's this week's MX5 race.
No, come on.
No.
Oh.
Oh man.
We're so sorry. But here we go. Michael Abdoka going to come round the final few cars here at Motegi, and he's going to take another race victory. He's had a real upturn in pace these past few weeks, and here he comes, Michael Abdoka, to take race 1 here at Motegi. And what a good drive that was from him. So James Underhill round the final chicane now. Scott Malcolm along with him. They haven't gone too early here. When will he go? James Underhill from the pole position, and away we go for race 2 of the evening. It's not a great start. No, so they haven't gone. They all got on the brakes, and
oh man,
gone. That was chaos, and Underhill has got to a horrendous start. Dima also got a poor start. It's Malcolm leading the race, but I wonder if that's going to be a jump start for him. There could be contact, and there is contact. The XBR drove around. Ayres was in there as well, but it's Malcolm in the lead with Robinson right on his tail. McFadden perhaps sees a potential race victory. Stuart McFadden down the inside of Colin Robinson, and they go into turn 5 now, and he has got that position.
Very surprised that there was nothing major, because you know,
change for the lead, sorry.
Yeah, change for the lead. Yeah, McFadden is in the lead.
He's now up into 5th position, up 5 places himself. Underhill is now down 6. What a chaotic first lap this is, and Dima's gone for the move, and that's a great move from Lee Dima on Colin Robinson.
And Malcolm went straight for the box, so he has a penalty.
And yeah, that's put his showdown chances maybe in a bit of jeopardy.
Synchronized spinning there. No contact, I think, between the two guys. Going to be very defensive here on the inside. Let's see what Abdoka has in store for him.
Going defensive straight away with Stuart McFadden. You can just about muscle your way around the outside here, and Abdoka's going to try to do it. He's going round the outside here, and that's going to be an awesome move from Abdoka. McFadden tries to force him off, and now it's going to be side by side going into this next section of course. If McFadden can just hang it round the outside, he's going to have a chance. Abdoka trying to stay in there, but just cutting him off is McFadden. Now heading down this pit straight, and I'm sure McFadden will go right to the inside, right to the pit wall. Abdoka looks to the inside. He cannot find a way through.
To McFadden, and there Ayres is flashing his lights to Abdoka as they go once again back to the double left-hander here that will bring them under the bridge for the first time of the 2 times they get under the bridge.
Oh, he's going to crash.
Hard hit for Abdoka.
Like it's going to be in the corner of the car.
He hit that wall at home.
Wasn't it?
Look at that, he went on the grass. Lost the drive a little bit even on the sand, and that was a very, very, very hard hit. And he's holding the wheel, you see on the right side, to go straight.
So he's right on the tail of Lee Dima. He's going to not qualify for the showdown. Either of these drivers, and Josh Thompson is going to look to the inside. Lee Dima not putting up much of a fight, and Thompson moves up into the top 3 positions. He was quite comfortable in the lead, seemingly had the pace to fend off his rival. But now, this is super close. This is where McFadden hit Lane O'Connor in the last race. And look at Thompson. He's gaining. Not going to be in with a chance into turn 1, but someone who does fancy his chances is Jamie. And now Thompson's going to go through 1. He's going to go through 2 maybe. This would be an incredible overtake. Josh Thompson takes the lead of the race from absolutely nowhere, and it's only taken him a handful of laps to go from the back of the grid to the front of the grid. And whilst these two carry on fighting once against one another, and there's going to be contact, Ayres is round. Dima moves up a position. Thompson in the lead.
Using the two dueling drivers as a pick basically, and getting into the corner in 3rd position and getting out of it in 1st position, as we see more contact there. I think that was Max Wright in his red car.
Contact.
Stevens, save it. Oh man, in the gravel, 3 wide there, wasn't going to work, as McFadden is defending now from Lavalli, and now he's blinking.
Yeah, we haven't talked too much about Lavalli, and actually this time McFadden not defending. That's very uncharacteristic of him today.
Evdoka extremely close to McFadden there. He had to lift, otherwise there would have been contact.
Lavalli
is off. Lavalli had a very bad corner.
He's off again, and he's hit the wall. Well, he looked so strong, didn't he? And just lost it early on there. Maybe overheated the tyres a little bit. I just got on the grass and it's clumsy there, similar to what Evdoka did, but with far worse consequences.
Let's see how will McFadden defend, of course, like he always does, all on the inside. Great run from Evdoka.
This is a repeat of the situation they had earlier on in the race, but Evdoka that time didn't feel the confidence to stick it on the inside. To be fair, McFadden was super late on the brakes, and that's compromised his run coming out of the final corner. And Evdoka sees a gap down the inside, but McFadden was not going to give him that gap, and Evdoka growing a little bit frustrated, and he's taking a slightly surprising line down into turn 1. This was the last lap of the race. Dima trying to go for a move, and Evdoka's a little bit late in covering off, almost blocking off the Mercedes, and he might run into the side of McFadden. He has done. McFadden gets back the right way, but he's lost 2 positions straight away there. He might lose 4. Evdoka into 2nd place.
I mean, you are right. It was pretty clear from his body language that he was getting restless. And now a dive bomb from Jamie Ayres, and somebody's around. Yeah, it's Dimmer in the grass.
Yeah, Josh Thompson coming round the final complex of corners now. In that McLaren, he's not going to challenge the championship now, but Josh Thompson crosses the line to win at Motegi. Race 2 of the evening goes his way. Here we go. Evdoka 2nd, Thompson 1st. Gonna round the final corner for race 3 of the evening, and away we go. Josh Thompson away really well in Evdoka. I thought he might have a good launch. It hasn't turned out that way because Ayres is pressurizing him into turn 1, but not quite. Ayres just has to back up.
At night you have to maybe have a bit of a adjustment on braking points, etc. As we see Evdoka very aggressive and good defending from Thompson on the inside, as Wormingham tries to attack Robinson, and I think he will be successful in this double right-hander under the bridge. The top 3 are extremely close, and I really want to see Evdoka do well in this race, and I want to see what his pace is.
Oh, he's hit him! That
man.
was very clumsy from Jamie Ayres, but Evdoka's kind of got away with it. He's going to lose out to Robinson and Dima. We've seen a lot of contact there, and Ayres is apologising a lot there profusely.
You think that flashing the lights is code for apologizing?
Yesterday in the Euro V8, and that was very different equipment, very different circuit, and that was Wormingham. Oh dear. So many drivers have done that, Marco. Getting on the grass, and it's just, guys, stay within the white lines, because it's suicide going up there. Might be able to extract a little bit more pace from it, just because I think he's got a little bit of damage on that car, and because we saw earlier on.
Extremely fast stop.
Yeah, really
5
quick.
seconds. 4.5 seconds. Hopefully he put enough fuel in the car.
Curveball coming in on that last lap on his first fast lap. Michael Evdoka, 46.86. Josh Thompson, 47.61. That's almost a second difference. And here comes Warmingham, actually really close on Thompson. And we look to the inside here. Richard Warmingham, that's been as close as he's been.
It's an 8-second stop for Richard Warmingham. Neck and neck for the position here, and Warmingham is ahead.
They matched each other through sectors 4 and 5, and Josh Thompson's still stationary. He's still stationary. It's 11-second stop, and that's surely going to be enough for Richard Warmingham to take the lead of the race. Josh Thompson might even be behind Michael Evdoka. He is. He's down into P3, and he's got all the work to do now. I don't know if we could just ride on board with him maybe for half a lap or so. Just see if he's lifting and coasting, because I'm surprised by this downturn in pace, because you remember on his first full lap,
he's in.
Warmingham rounding the final few corners now. Here he comes, Richard Warmingham, to take race 3 here at Motegi. Fantastic drive from him.
Yeah, the Macca's not good. Let's just clear that up. I'm just going to clear this up now. It's the worst GT3 on the grid, by a mile. The Merc drove up to me by about 4/10 on the straight. The Audi has more mechanical grip. It's just an absolute weapon of a car. I was having to try so hard just to keep it on the track.
Then we'll be back with us for that Phillip Island round, the final round before the showdown. How much will the points matter there? Still looking really close in the standings. We will be back next time, and from me, from Market, and from Sam, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next time.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Yeah, I thought it looked like, oh, he's blocking now on the left side. We see Enricandro on the outside. Now he has the inside on the Senares, and maybe he's got the position. Wow, some very close racing. I saw Calestani move and then stop.
Welcome back to Spa on the BSRTC. We're live here for race 2 of the evening. The green flag has flown. And Chris Wood's got a great start from pole position. Do apologise for the slight lateness, but the session was advanced. And here we go. Up the hill through Eau Rouge and Radion. Oh, I can hear something going on. People sliding. What is it? I think we're all right. I think, oh, one of the Apex cars extremely sideways over the top of the crash. A Vortex car into the wall. And that's Jesper Drillica. Oh, dear. That was a big one. At Eau Rouge Radion. Do not want to crash there. And that is a big one for Jesper. Chris Wood leading, Jake Blackhall second, Jamie Rushworth third. Fourth, Jack McIntyre, and fifth is former Club Series champion in Magic Sakovic. The Magic Sandwich himself. Jamie Rushworth. Oh, Jake Blackhall sideways, the Australian. Going for a bit of a drift there. In the background positions being made up by Diogo Melro. Nathan Davies, I think, having a look as well. That must be a pit start for him then, I would imagine, for Sutton. So we'll see just how far up he can get. Don't know how far that will be. Wood leading the way, Blackhall, then Rushworth, McIntyre, Sakovic, Smith, Williams, Blake, Stevens and Davis. And that's Nathan Davis in P10. Michael Davis is in 16th place. Long run up to Blanchimont. And yeah, we were just having sound issues before the broadcast, so we were just looking into that. And a few drivers sliding off the track, including Michael Blake there, the Simortal car. The luminous green and yellow, luminous green, yellow, whatever you want to call it. I call it yellow, some people call it green. Car 29 anyway. And he's under pressure from Kip Stevens, season 1 and 2 champion. I think we might have lost Rob Graham. I think Rob Graham is out. Yeah, he is. Scottish driver has bitten the dust on this one. Look at this. There's a couple of two wide battles going down the hill into Eau Rouge. Oh, and there's one of the cars, I think it's Sedgwick, going right over the inside of Radion. I wonder if he's got to slow down there. It doesn't look like it. Blake defending hard from Stevens, who's slotting in behind Nathan Davies. Davies has already taken Michael Blake. Stevens having a look. There is a bit of room there, but Blake fights back on the outside. They're into Malmedy now. That's well driven. Oh, a bit of contact there with Sedgwick. Sedgwick tried to mount the Simortal car, it looked like there. Jake Blackhall's taking the lead away from Chris Wood. It's very close. At the front four. McIntyre is in fourth now. They've just broken away slightly from Maciej Sakovic. Paul Smith in sixth place. We haven't seen him at all in this round. There he is, the Yorkshireman. Yorkshire flag on his roof. And he's hunting down Maciej Sakovic. Their teammates, of course. And behind them is Craig Williams. Saw him getting into Colin Cunniff in the first race. Mark Westwood's in the pits. Looks like he's had a problem. Looks like Ronald Moons is out. Ash Sutton might be out as well. I can't tell. I think he's going slowly out there, though. As is Martin Front. I'm not sure. He's showing Sutton as almost a lap down. No, I don't know if that's... I don't think that's right. I think he had a pit lane start, but I don't think he's a lap down. So, anyway, we'll see what comes of that, unless he had a penalty or something. But anyway, that's the race 1 winner pretty much out of the picture for this one. Paul Smith and Craig Williams having a battle into the chicane, but there is a battle at the front. And that's Chris Wood getting shuffled back, the man who's won races in the World GT Championship. He's now side by side with Jack McIntyre coming over the start-finish line. Oh, and a bit of a set 2 in the background. I think that's Rusty Laidler and possibly Melro. Look at this. This is a gaggle. When we talk about gaggle here, that is a gaggle. Brian Holmes hits Pete Newman. No harm done there. Car 1, Wojciech Svidovic is in watching in all this. Alex Simpson at the back of the pack, as is Adaicoba Lopez and Stephen Baxter. Baxter with the English flag on the top of this car. The orange mirrors. Of the what am I trying to say? Of the NLR team with GT Omega. Baxter closing in then. On Alex Simpson. Can he get the move done? On the iRacing Road Pro Series champion of 2017. Simpson trying to have a look on William Daniels. He's up the inside. And that's the outside then for the second part of Lacombe into Malmedy. Simpson throws it in. And that's car 2. Car 22 for some reason in this race. Up into 25th place. He started 21st though. So he won't be that happy with the start. Jake Blackwell leads by just half a second over Jamie Rushworth. Jack McIntyre in 3rd position. We've got a 9-lap race, incidentally, this time. So we've done away with the timed race, as is usually the case for race 2. We're down to 9 laps. Biggest gainers so far, as you can see on your screen, Diogo Melro and Michael Hall up 8 positions from where they started. They started 22nd and 23rd, respectively. They're up into 14th and 15th. Bit behind them, Adaicoba Lopez has gained 12 and Mark Johnson has gained 12 as well. It's now 13 for Lopez as he looks to go through on the championship leader Stephen Baxter, and it's going to be very close between them. Oh, it was very close. There was contact going through Stavolo. And Lopez into 27th place. That's up for him. Lap 4 then has just begun. Here at Spa-Francorchamps. And Apex Racing TV, Andrew Woodhouse and Sam Kumo is on the cameras for us. And he's seeing Paul Smith and Nathan Davies going side by side. The Welshman in the Apex Racing UK car trying to get past the Yorkshireman in the Team Mad car. We all know Yorkshire is superior, but not on this occasion because Nathan Davies has gone through. I wonder if Smith's going to fight back though. He's had a better Eau Rouge there than Nathan Davies. He's going to get the slipstream. We're on board with the Team Mad driver, car 28. He's closing in. He really is. Let's see if he's going to have a go into Lacombe. Oh, he's let on the brakes. He's going to hit him, is he? Oh, no, he almost did. Very, very close action here. Indicator Optima as normal. This is the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship for anybody who doesn't know. It's probably the best league on iRacing when you look at the competition, how close it is, and the quality of drivers that we've got. Paul Smith staying ahead of Jack Sedgwick, who started in 16th place. He's worked his way up to 9th. Kip Stevens is just behind him. Stevens up the 1 position from where he started. Up the inside for Nathan Davies then. Into Pouon. He's got past Craig Williams. And that's up to 6th for him. Next target is Maciek Sakovic, just 0.3 of a second in front of him. You can see him there, in fact. Don't need me to tell you. The lead is very close for the lead. Very, very close. Jake Blackwell's got within 0.2 of a second of the race lead. Sorry, Jamie Rushworth's got within 0.2 of a second of Jake Blackwell. Here it is. Now, Blackwell for CQR Academy, Rushworth for the main team. Let's see if the former champion then, Jamie Rushworth, can get up there. Season 4 champion, I believe, for Jamie Rushworth. Is he going to have a look into the bus stop chicane? No, he doesn't. Blackhall just keeping his position, staving off Rushworth for now. Oh, look at this, 2x2 into the bus stop chicane. Davies hammers the car over the curb. That puts Sakovic wide, making contact with Williams as Williams could not get out of the way. And you can see this battle just escalating here in the middle of the race. Sakovic throwing it up the inside into La Source, almost makes contact with Jack Sedgwick. Paul Smith's gone around the outside and looks like he's benefited from that. He's ahead of Sakovic. That's good driving by Paul Smith. Saw the opening. Jake Blackhall went off the course in Eau Rouge. I don't think it's going to hurt him too badly though. Off goes Michael Blake, but he's back on. A lot of drivers use that runoff area, really. Drivers in danger of being disqualified, actually. Sven Glatzel's had 11 off tracks already. 9 for Pete Newman, 9 for George Simmons, and Jack Sedgwick with 9 as well. So quite a few drivers are in danger of falling foul of the stewards. 12 incidents for... 15 incidents for Bradley Burns. I think he's just been disqualified. Ross McFarlane, 13 incidents. William Daniels, 12. 11 for Glatzel, 11 for Dima, 10 for Sakovic, and then 9 for Newman, Sutton, and Butler. So those guys need to clean up their act for the last 5 laps, otherwise they'll be out of the race. With disqualification, it does occur when you've hit 11 incidents. Sorry, 15 incidents it is now, sorry. Of course it is, new limit for 2018. Because we're only doing 3 races now instead of 4. Used to be 11, and here comes Brian Holmes looking for the outside move then on Craig Williams. He's got a bit of an overlap. That means Williams has to give him the space. Definitely doesn't mean he's got to let him through though, because Craig Williams is fighting hard now. Done a good job just to keep in front through Fagnes chicane. It's one of my favourite parts of the circuit, that Fagnes, and into Stavolo. Bit of an underrated section in my opinion. Woodhouse is in there with Blake and Melrose. Michael Hall having a look on Melrose then at the back of this group. You can see it. It's very, very close again for the lead though. Blackhall and Rushworth only 2 tenths apart. Going into the bus stop chicane with Jack McIntyre just behind. McIntyre in third. We saw the cutback work for Jason Cooper on Tuesday night in the BSR MX5 Cup. Didn't work quite as well for Jack McIntyre that time, but he did gain some time. Fastest man on the track then, on the last lap. Looks like it was Jack Sedgwick. 2:29.09. Sven Glatzel, 2:28. It was 2:28 on the previous lap. Foggy, 2:28.99 on that lap. And that was a good one for Nicole Foggy. Some of the drivers, some of the big names really not making much progress. Alex Simpson, Wojciech Swidovic, Pete Harrod, Dave Baker, Stephen Baxter, they're kind of still in that mid-20s marker. Adai Lopez is up 14 places from where he started in 40th. Ash Sutton is still going, and he's almost caught up to Martin Front, actually. Sutton, after his pit start, race 1 winner, he will want to finish on the lead lap because it will give him a good opportunity to get... to score some points, of course, and to get a reverse grid pole. That's what I meant. We might be getting Marco Barbanera in the booth for race 3. That'll be good. Get his perspective, and it'll save my voice slightly. Oh, there's been a crash, and it's Adai Lopez. Lopez is in the gravel. What on earth has happened to the former champion? Let's see then. Season 5 champion, Adai Lopez. Oh, he turns in across Pete Harrod, it looks like. That's the quarter panel, and that's the danger in the Kia Optima of happening. It happens quite a lot. And this time, it was experienced by Adai Lopez. Pete Harrod now with a bit of damage. It's not going to affect him too much, you wouldn't think, on the front of the CQR Club car. Michael Hall having a look at George Simmons into Stavolo. He's going to get that one done, I think. Or is he? Because Simmons looking around the outside. Hall tries to squeeze him off the track a little bit. Here comes Sven Glatzel. Glatzel having a look then. He's gone through on Hall into Blanchimont. He's got a good run through Blanchimont. Not enough to attack the cars in front. He's still defending from Hall. Hall's going round the outside. He might get this one done, you know. Glatzel very late on the brakes. Almost hits Brian Holmes. Holmes trying to go around the outside of Michael Blake. Simultaneous moves going on at the bus stop chicane. Fantastic driving by all here. Just to stay out of each other's way more than anything. Holmes and Simmons and Blake still fighting. Dave Baker's up to 20th, Christian Rose up to 19th. At the front, it's still Blackhall by just 0.4 of a second, so let's see it up the hill. Let's see into Lacombe if anything can be done by Rushworth. I'm not convinced that there will be, but there's something done for third. Chris Wood having a look on McIntyre. McIntyre for Youth Energy. With the Youth Energy car is for NLR Scuderia Haggis. And he's in third place now, Jack McIntyre. 3 positions from where he started. Biggest gainers, Jack Sedgwick up 11, Diogo Melro 10, as is George Simmons, Nico Foggy, Adam McNally up 10 as well. Mike Johnston, 14 positions gained for Sim Auto, because I can't talk properly. And here comes Kip Stevens. Trying to have a look on Paul Smith. I think there was a bit of contact there into Rivage, but Smith stays ahead of the 2-time champion. Stevens could well become an AM champion as well. I don't know if that's happened in the past, if anyone's got an AM championship and then got a full championship. It's the other way around for Stevens, actually. Yeah, it's very close in this pack. 3 laps to go, including the one we're on now. Stevens in P8, monster in the back of Paul Smith. An interesting stream over on Paul Smith's channel. You can go and find it on YouTube if you want to watch his perspective of the race. It's always entertaining. Our colleague, of course, here at Apex Racing TV and at RaceSpot TV as well. He's having to defend from Kip Stevens. Jake Blackhall and Jamie Rushworth. I think, I'm not sure it's going to go down, but it might go down between McIntyre and Rushworth here, because McIntyre's less than 0.2 behind. Oh, it's Diogo Melrose slides through Blanchimont. Here we go then, into the chicane. Oh, off goes Smith. Into the barrier. But Paul Smith, he can surely carry on from there. He just needs to turn it into the right-hand side, left-hand side of the track, surely. He doesn't have to wait for these people. He would be able to get that round, surely, yes. Well, maybe he didn't want to risk having broken steering and not being able to actually make the turn he wanted. Now this gaggle leads all the way back to Wojciech Svidovic, in fact further back to past Wojciech Svidovic. It goes back to about Mark Johnson in 27th place. That's a great run up the hill from Williams. He's right behind Diogo Melro. Terrific run by Craig Williams. He's going to have the slipstream as well in front of him. Melro has a bit of slipstream from Sakovic. Can he gain 9th position, Williams? The 3 wide in the background. Glatzel, Michael Blake and one of the NLR cars, that's Foggy. Look at that there, Melro and Williams still fighting. So fighting very hard. George Simmons and Mark Woodhouse now in the battle as well. Stephen Baxter's up to 24th place from 31st on the grid. Wojciech Svidovic is up to 19th. Is he side by side with Christian Rose? He was. Oh, and there's a battle there. Simmons and Woodhouse. That is Mark Woodhouse round the on the outside of Simmons to keep his place. Oh, McIntyre. McIntyre might try and take advantage of Jamie Rushworth. Oh, he's sliding. He's on the grass. McIntyre, can he keep it round the outside? You know, I think he's going to keep it through Paul Ferrer, although he has to get out of it a little bit. Going to be side by side in the run towards Blanchimont. Let's see then. Look at that, wheel to wheel, mirror to mirror, door handle to door handle. Oh! Paintwork to paintwork there. Rushworth decides, sod that, I'm going to go all the way around the outside. I'm not quite sure whether that should be allowed, really. But here comes Chris Wood. Oh, bit of a nerve. Sedgwick got really held up by that as well. He stopped a second behind Jack Sedgwick. Just from the fact they nearly run into that lot as they were having their own issues. Look at that battle. I know it's the last lap, but just look at that. That stretches for miles almost. It stretches the whole length of the pitch straight, those cars. Oh, and up there's a move into the hairpin. Oh, there's a crash. Glatzel's involved. And Michael Blake as well. Oh, now they're 3 wide with Baker. Well, I'm not sure what happened there. It might be worth having a quick look at that. See what happened into Lasso's hairpin. So we're looking in the middle of the pack there. We're looking at Blake and possibly, is it Hall who tries for the inside? Oh, just misses his braking point, takes out Glatzel. That'll be a penalty, Stonewall penalty that is. Use a football analogy. He tries to take Blake here, hard on the brakes into Lassos, and thinks, oh bother, I'm going to miss that, and too late. Into Sven Glatzel. That spun a few guys around. Yeah, and that's the problem. Mistake by Hall. And that will not go down well with Glatzel, no doubt. Svidovic, Foggy and Baker very close together, but here's the final lap for the win for the leaders. One of them's probably going to be the winner. We don't know which one yet. Blackhall leads the way from Rushworth. I wouldn't bet on CQR really making much of an effort to change these positions round in the final few corners, because I think if they can help it, they'd want to get that 1-2. I know it's not the same team. It's the academy team ahead of the main team, but potentially they could be sharing the prize money at the end of the season if it helps the academy team with their quest as well to place. Although they're both in the pro category, so they're really fighting against each other. I wonder if Rushworth's going to go for the win here into the bus stop chicane. I wonder if maybe Jack McIntyre might go for something. Rushworth does pull out the slipstream. Is it more of a defensive move, or is it an offensive move? I think it's a defensive move. And Jake Blackhall. Oh, we might get a cutback here. We might have a cutback from McIntyre's all over the curb. I think it might be a slowdown. But here we go. Yeah, it is a slowdown for McIntyre. He's going to only get 5th in the end. And it's very close at the back between Stevens, Sakovic, Melrose and co. That is very, very close indeed. Holmes and Simmons and Williams within just hundreds of each other. Look at this pack of cars. You really don't see that many packs of cars like that in any other series really on iRacing. Not with as fast the cars as this anyway. As the Kia Optima is. Fantastic race. Really, really enjoyed that. Very clean driving from the vast majority there. And yeah, we're really looking forward to the 3rd race here on Apex Racing TV. Do stick with us because we will have that coming to you at the other side of the break that we're going to have in just a couple of minutes' time. First of all, we've got the race results, but we're just waiting for the cars. Just waiting for all the cars to finish. We're just waiting on Rob Graham, who had a crash on the opening lap. So I don't know exactly what happened to Rob Graham, but it's meant that he's kind of limping home. Jake Blackhall's your winner, the Australian. Rob Graham, yeah, he's got front left damage there. And for Blackhall, well, it's his 2nd win of the season, 5th podium finish. He did miss one meeting, but I think he'll probably be in the showdown if he just makes the rest of the meetings and keeps the DNFs down to a minimum. Not that many weeks left, of course, in the showdown, in the regular season. Before the showdown. Takes us through to November, December time, usually. But yeah, it's been a fabulous race, this. Still waiting on the results. Ronald Moons Royal Moon's coming across. I hate to break it to him, though, unfortunately, but he's only completed 6 laps, and so he won't score anything, I'm afraid. But here we go, Jake Blackhall with the win. Ahead of Jamie Rushworth, then Chris Wood, Jack Cedric, and Jack McIntyre, the top 5. Nathan Davis in 6th, Kip Stevens in 7th, Archik Sakovic 8th, Diogo Melro in 9th, and Brian Holmes in 10th. It was very close behind them, with Williams, Simmons, Woodhouse, Baker, Svidovic, Foggy, Rose, Blake, Newman, Simpson, Laidler, Baxter, Brown, Harrod, Johnston, all in the one pack. Then Ross McFarlane was 26th, then McNally, then Daniels, Cunniff, Sutton. Actually come back to 30th. That's pretty good in the end after a pit start. Scott Malcolm 31st, Matt in front, then in 32nd, then Deemer, then Butler, Graham, Glatzel. And then Michael Hall was the last car on the lead, on the, one lap down. So Hall will be the man if it is a full. He will get that reverse grid pole. Paul Smith retired, as did Adai Cover Lopez, Ronald Moons, Bradley Burns, Michael Davis, Mark Westwood, and Jesper Drilka. Although Ronald Moons did actually finish the race, but 3 laps down. Right then, Mr. Kumo, it's over to you for the reverse grid wheel. Who's going to be on pole for race 3?
And yes, the wheel is on your screen right now, and we will spin it. Will it be quite as big as the previous? Well, guess what? It will be. It is again 30.
30 is Ash Sutton, who goes on to pole. So Ash Sutton, the British Touring Car champion, will go onto the front of the grid for this one. He'll be looking to take another win of his season, which has been pretty successful, actually. And it's, I believe, it's 11 wins for him. It's 10 or 11 wins, I think, for him in this season. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can do that. Colin Cunniff needs a bit of good luck here, so he will get onto the front row as well. William Daniels, Adam McNally, and Ross McFarlane will make up the top 5. Right then, everybody, thank you for joining us for race 2. We will be back after this commercial break, and we'll be having race 3 here at Spa. And I'll be joined by Marco Barbanera. Don't miss that. We'll see you in a bit.
Oh, he's on the grass! Oh, man! Yeah, good speed for Carestani in the slower section. Let's see if he can get good slipstream now. Of course, he will have DRS.
Yeah, so he'll deploy it down here. He's not going to be close enough, is he? Unless there's maybe he can use the energy deployment. And down the inside goes Kalistani. Andre had to deploy some or recover some energy pretty early on there, and it allows Kalistani to just use his extra bit of battery power. But he's going to be under pressure here. Now the slipstream and the DRS this time for Andre. He goes to the outside, Kalistani holding onto the inside. He's got to swoop round here, does Andre, but Kalistani maybe has the ideal line. Maybe he doesn't. Andre round the outside, he's going to have the inside for the next corner.
Oh.
Now superb defense. Can Kalistani come back? No.
Gobbi will bite the bullet and pit next lap, or if he is staying out, we know that Harrison Finch is pretty comfortable out there, so I don't think he will be responding quick enough. And now we see Kalistani, Suarez getting lapped right now by the guys in P2, P3 and P4, and what I'm seeing right now, and Kalistani goes for the pass. Oh, not an easy place to pass here at the Bico de Pato, absolutely. That was a brave move. It was maybe Andre was caught by surprise by the lapper, and again at the Junson. Oh man! Oh, Kalistani almost goes around.
And where's Thompson in relation to this? Here comes Josh Thompson. So Kalistani might still have a move at this second position, but here comes Thompson with the slipstream, with the DRS here. Andre's really vulnerable here, and Thompson could get the pad to the outside. It's going to be 3 wide, and Thompson's off, and he could hit the wall. He's missed it though, and Andre moves, holds on to second position. And Kalistani, I think, may have just made the overtake.
Yeah, we see on our live timing they are very close. Kalistani finally makes it. Now he has to defend big time in the Reta Opposta because he will not have DRS and Andre has it. We've seen some pretty aggressive driving.
Oh, that's aggressive as well. And he's made it.
I think there was a slight touch between them maybe, but Andre made it.
But he'll know that he's got a chance at this one. Andre and Kalistani super close. Kalistani to the outside again. Andre deep on the brakes. Can Kalistani go all the way around the outside? He's going to have the inside for the next corner. Andre gives him space and holds onto it for now, but Kalistani has got an awesome run here, and he's going to have DRS and such a better line here. Andre goes defensive, hasn't really got the overspeed as Kalistani, but round the outside he goes. Is this the move which is going to give him second position? Andre still on the inside, still hanging on to the second position. But back comes down the inside, and Andre could finally lose this one. Still round the outside. This is incredible battling. Andre tries to just squeeze him on the apex, tries to push him out. It does Kalistani. Andre, though, will not give this one in. He's got to go defensive once again. This is absolutely incredible. He's lost it, but he hangs on.
How did he save that? How did he save that? Wow! Another car, but you see Kalistani is hanging just a little bit back compared to the previous laps, so maybe his tires have given up, or maybe he's got some kind of damage from the contacts they've had before.
He's got absolutely nailed this exit. Those tires will be screaming. They were on lap 18. Gobby, lap 21. Has he got the run? It doesn't look like he has, but he's going to have a little bit of DRS. It's not closing in, though, down the pit straight, and Andre's going to hang on to second position. Kalistani third. Gobby ends up in fourth, and Thompson holds on to fifth against Ragusa. How on earth did you manage to keep Matteo behind for all those 46 laps?
Oh, to be honest, I have no idea. I was really struggling with the tires. I think that at the start of the race, I was faster than him. But yeah, my front tires were just dying through the whole stint. Like I finished the race, I was maybe 30% of tires lasting at the front. So, well, I just try to defend and try to be smart and
Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMary at the line.
Lee Dima is now only second behind Ralph Cullen. I don't know how that's happened. Cullen was about 8 seconds ahead at one point.
Dima has
And
been
now-
flying.
Yeah, a second a lap every lap. You know what, that kind of slow speed down the straights of the BMW may not be too costly, but Dima, he's got so much more...
Oh, Cullinan with
Oh.
the big slide through the exit
Oh,
of
wow, he's under
Villeneuve.
pressure.
Now he's really got to hold the inside line in Toza. Now, oh, Dima gets a great exit. Cullinan's going to have to block the inside into Piratella, surely. Surely he has to come across. Dima's going to be through here, is he? No. These GT3 cars, they are quite large. So, you know, your vision can be
Oh,
obscured.
he's got the man here.
This is a great exit. This could be a chance.
God, just go
This time
all
he's
out on the
really,
outside.
really deep on the outside, and Cullinan loses rear, but he still somehow manages to fire the BMW out of the Tosa hairpin, level with the Mercedes, and the BMW is maintaining the straight line speed with the Mercedes. Here we go into Piratella. He throws it in, Cullinan. Does he have the adhesion? Does he have the grip? Yes, he does, is the answer. Dima tries to cut back, but Cullinan is on the inside for Acqua Minerale. There is no overtaking through here. Now, Sam, this could be the moment for Dima. Maybe not into Variante Alta now, but he needs to just have a good chicane and set him up. Cullinan is breaking in the middle of the course.
Oh,
Just
he's
not
wide.
the optimal line.
Oh, he's got to defend here. Got to go all out defense line. Get to the
Oh,
inside,
he
get to the
pushes him, he
inside.
hits him. Makes a bit of contact on the straight now.
Oh, he's trying to do the dummy. Oh, he's got to. You got to defend. You got
Is
to.
he going to have a second chance? Is he going to be down the inside? Cullinan
he's
goes
wide.
deep. He goes deep on
He's
the brakes.
got
He's
him.
on the grass and leads.
they can get the run off.
But it's the final corner. And can Cullinan respond to that passing move by Dima? He's going to be very close. The line's coming up. Cullinan's got the shortest run, but I think it's going to be Dima. It is indeed. Lee Dima gets to the line and wins a brilliant battle. Brilliant.
and he will get his foot down any moment now as the pace car pulls in. Tony Klinsmann waits to apply the throttle, and there he goes. It's not a brilliant launch for him, and Michael Evdoka's right on his tail. Can he get into the slipstreams? Just side by side between Foggy, but Klinsmann hangs on to the inside. Evdoka not taking too many risks, and down the inside for Klinsmann. It's a good start for him, just holding on against Evdoka. Foggy into third, Brandon fourth, Jackson fifth, Lutzmore sixth.
And Daledonne goes around at the chicane. He's bringing the car back onto the track, but he lost a lot of positions there. Too aggressive, as I said, inexperienced with his cars, and it showed here.
And Evdoka leads this race, and now Foggy's looking for any opportunity to get past. Brandon looking racy as well in fourth. Klinsmann, he's not used to this, being overtaken on just the second lap. But it seems to be that Evdoka has certainly the pace to win this race. Down the inside goes Klinsmann. Evdoka not building up a lead, but Klinsmann there trying to stay as close as possible. Trying to get the move down into the Casio triangle. Down the inside goes Lutzmore, and he can get that done, and here comes Ritchie. Down the inside, can he get it stopped? Just about, but he needs to get the cut back now. Brilliant drive. Oh, and off the track goes Lutzmore. He got the move done. Ritchie might gain two positions here in a couple of corners. Ritchie into the slipstream. Gotta go to the inside. Not much defense from Jackson. And Ritchie will just go straight through here. And he goes up into fifth place. Brilliant debut drive for Ritchie out.
Sorry guys, I want to butt in very quickly. Michele Ritchie around, coming out of the Casio triangle. Issues for him.
Yeah, I was watching the live timing. I thought he was going in for a pit stop, or a very early pit stop, but you're right, he went around.
I think Klinsmann might be about to lose a position here. Here comes Foggy. Klinsmann's got to slow down. Don't go into the back of him, Brandon. Oh, that was...
Welcome back to Spa, and we're on the grid for round 3 of the evening, round 66 of the 2018 British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship here on Apex Racing TV. Andrew Woodhouse here with Sam Kumar on the cameras. Very pleased to say hello to Michael Barbanera, who's joined me in the commentary box for the final round.
Hello everyone, and we are getting ready for this race 3. It was a fantastic night of racing so far, and I expect more of the same in race 3.
There we go then, Ash Sutton on pole position. He started second in race 1 and he won the race. What can he do this time? Green light is on. Fairly even start. Pretty good one from Sutton, decent one from Cunniff as well. Cunniff's going to go the long way around the outside. Into La Source. Seems fairly well behaved so far. Yeah, I think it stayed like that as well, but it might not on the way down the hill. You never know. We sometimes get some incidents. Everybody's gone through the hairpin, okay, maybe going through Eau Rouge, okay, are we? Yeah, I think we're just about through. I think everybody's made it, Marco.
Yeah, very clean. So far tonight I've seen some clean racing, like I see...
Well.
Hold that thought for a second, because Butler was on his right side. Terrible crash.
I didn't actually see that at all for some reason.
And he rolled all the way through, basically pit exit there. So that was a very nasty hit. And
I think there was an automatic no-kill car. I think it was Rob Graham, who's just had absolutely no luck tonight. And I think it was Michael Hall that might have been involved in that as well. Chris Woods dropping down the order as well. I think Chris Woods crashed somewhere out there on the circuit. Sutton leads, Cunniff second, McFarlane, then McNally, Johnson, Harrod, Brown, Laidler, Newman and Baxter. That's your top 10. Baxter needs a good result. He needs a top 10 finish here because Nico Foggy is now taking the lead of the Drivers' Championship. 19 points clear. So he needs a good result, and we see him sliding the car into the Fanion chicane behind Pete Newman.
And it's unbelievable, sorry to interrupt, but all race long, in race 1, race 2, this huge snake of cars, and every time you get into a corner you have somebody's front bumper sneaking on your right side, left side, and it's unbelievable how these guys have been able to keep it clean for most of the night, apart from a couple of collisions.
To be honest, I think we've had as many crashes in on the first lap of this race as we have in the other two combined, and that is nothing but a compliment for these drivers. It's been very, very cleanly fought, this meeting, and well, Ash Sutton leads the way. He's got 1.25 second lead over Ross McFarlane, who was very quick in race 1. Probably finished less than that behind Ash Sutton in race 1. And going through the bus stop chicane, we can see cars just nose to tail every which way you look. Wojciech Svidovic has gained 6 places. Marco is already up to 10th position.
Yeah, and the defending champion is trying to, you know, this is a very, very dangerous spot, especially when you go through the hairpin and 3-4 wide we've seen today. As you see other drivers now going down the hill. Once again, basically we are 2-3 wide all the way through some of these corners. Extremely dangerous, as we see. Look at that, the cars bouncing all over the curb there at Eau Rouge, and you see cars getting good exit, bad exit, and you get this massive NASCAR style racing on the Camel Straight, 4 wide, not now, but now 2x2x2, as we see. Foggy. Contact there.
Svidovic and maybe Laidler.
Yeah. They were able to save it, but there were some pretty hard hits to the cars, especially near the wheels, the front wheels, so maybe some damage there. Let's see.
Yeah, we need to see if there's any damage to Wojciech Svidovic or Rusty Laidler's cars. Side by side between Baker and Will Daniels through the corner with no name. And into Pouon they go. Baker on the outside, Daniels on the inside. Can the season 7 champion make the move up into 14th place? William Daniels, the AM driver, having a really, really good defence of this position on Dave Baker, who doesn't always fight through the field amazingly well, Baker, but he has gained 3 places from where he started. Very nice driving. It is a track that everybody seems to know, Marco, and I think that's showing out there.
Absolutely, yeah. Track everybody seems to also love, and it suits really well these cars. I mean, you get all sorts of corners, as we see people actively pushing each other now on the run up to Blanchimont. Careful there, guys. Now you have to just leave a little bit of space here. Don't want to dive bomb on the inside.
Oh, that's the fastest corner on the course, and everybody just about making it through. It's very, very close racing. I mean, I'm very, very impressed with just how close everybody's able to be on such a challenging circuit like this. Stevens and Woodhouse nearly getting into each other at the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, once again, 2x2 as they go start the Grand Prix start finish line, which we are using tonight. And now once again to the hairpin, the La Source hairpin. Thankfully we have a large enough runoff areas, even though the incident limit of course is something that we need to take into account, because it's I think 15 incident points, so you have to be careful with your X's and your crashes.
Looking at Rusty Laidler, then we were. Now it's Pete Newman side by side with Nico Foggy. Now the championship leader going round the outside.
Foggy has had fantastic season so far. He's also been very, very fast. He's coming out and he's being very, very fast in the Euro B8s. Another car that requires you to be a little period of getting to know the car and the tracks and the way the car reacts, and his breakout season for him, absolutely. It's a joy to see him drive, and he's doing very well in 2 very, very different modes. Good for him.
Yeah, it's not an easy car to drive, the V8 especially. I mean, I know that. I used to drive the old V8 every now and again, and yeah, it's very, very tough indeed. William Daniels, it says he's dropping down the order. It says he's dropped down to 34th place. I don't know what's happened to him. It might be a spin looking at his car. It doesn't look like he's actually got any damage.
Yeah, the car looks clean. Let's see the replay here at the Puon.
Oh, just wide. I wonder if he had a slowdown, you know. I think it's a slowdown that he's serving. Yeah, it has to be because the car looks okay. So yeah, Daniel's dropping down the order. He's going to have to fight back now. He's got good pace though. Might be able to pick off a few drivers. Sutton leads by 2.5 seconds. So really going well for Ash Sutton. McFarlane just doesn't have the... Oh! And that is Mike Johnston, I think it is it? Oh, it's Lee Deemer. Let's see then. Into the chicane. He's battling it out with Paul Smith. Oh, Smith's car just twitches, I think. And I think he might have just slid into Deemer and quarter panelled him. Not intentional by any means, but...
Yeah, the same crash that Smith had in the previous race, if I'm not mistaken, in the final couple of laps.
I think just on the braking he might have just lost the rear slightly. He was running very close with Deemer, and Pete Harrod trying to go around the outside of Adam McNally. I was just going to say that McFarlane not quite showing the pace that he was in the first race when he was able to easily stay with Ash Sutton. It didn't look like he was really pushing that hard to stay with him, but now Sutton's got a big lead, and Harrod now going up the inside of McNally into Rivage, and it's going to be the outside now for Harrod through No Name Corner. He's right in the slipstream. He might have a chance into Puon. It's not really a great overtaking opportunity unless you're already side by side.
Oh, he's sideways.
Oh!
Great save. Great save by Harrod there.
Yeah, going into a corner as fast as Puon, you don't really want a moment like that. But Harrod didn't really lose any time. That was good.
Yeah, I cannot stress enough how little grip there is there in that corner. Even with the Skip Barber, very low power car, you go there sliding and you feel that like the car could snap on you in an instant. So I can only imagine his front wheel cars with much higher horsepower, of course. That was a fantastic save by Pete Harrod there, and he's keeping it close with McNally and Caniff, so everything is good so far for him.
Of course, with the tyre model the way it is, it can, if you do have a sliding moment like that, you can sometimes get bitten and it might end up turning the other way on you, but it's better in the Kia Optima in terms of that anyway. It's a bit easier to save. A few drivers running wide at Blanchimont. You can see that when the indicator flashes red on the left hand side, it's because the driver has gone off the circuit.
So we are halfway through. Sutton has got 3 seconds lead over Ross McFarlane, and I think that Caniff is not been able to close the gap on McFarlane so far. Even this last lap, McFarlane was a bit faster than Caniff, so it's looking good for P2. And then everything is happening, of course, for P3. Caniff, McNally and Harrod are battling together, then a little bit of a gap between themselves and Foggy, who is lapping faster than the guys in front of him, so maybe he will be able to join the party for P3 come the end of the race.
Personal best lap for Sutton. I believe that's the fastest lap of the race. It didn't show up, so I wonder if that was because he might have got an incident point. But it was a personal best, 2:28.4. I don't think it necessarily counts for the fastest lap. Because of that, Alex Simpson and Pete Newman fighting over 10th and 11th places. You get the feeling, whoa! Almost a bit of contact. Simpson goes through, he's battling in front. Johnston and Foggy. I think that is it Brown? Might be Brown and not Foggy actually. Simpson's going through as well on Mark Johnston. And yeah, that's well, Alex will enjoy that, getting a free position, but you get the sense, Marco, that Alex doesn't really have that much pace around here tonight because he hasn't really been able to make any. He made a bit of progress in the first race, but not really much in the second. And this one, well, he's only got 2 positions gained, and they were just on that in those last few corners.
Yeah, we talked to him in the previous race after the previous round we had, and he said that basically now on he's looking to get consistent results, trying to finish the race because he cannot afford any more DNFs. So maybe it's also part of a strategy. He doesn't want to risk too much of a slow car, it's Rose.
Christian Rose, yeah.
And very, very slow. Also dabbing on the brakes there, coming out of Q1. Let's see the replay, he was already wide there.
I wonder if we can get 10 or 15 seconds further back. I wonder if we can see. I wonder if it's... See, I don't know if it's a disqualification, not a disqualification, a slowdown. Or does he get hit? Or does he lose it? Goes wide and then just hits the brakes. I don't know, weird one. It could be a hardware issue for Rose, that. Or it could even just be the fact that he might just have to, he might be distracted by something, you never know.
I may be guessing there is like an agreement in the driver briefing that if you go wide at Q1 you have to slow down in the end, because you don't get a slowdown penalty if you go wide, but we saw also another car a couple of laps ago going wide at Q1, slowing down and then merging at a very, very slow pace after the end of the corner. So maybe that was a gentleman agreement between the drivers, even though I'm seeing most of them going extremely wide at Blanchimont, which is
it could, yeah,
gaining a big advantage if you go, and also very risky because you have to merge at some point. That's the fastest part of the track, basically.
I was about to say to you, here we go. McNally and Harrod, that's close. I was about to say to you, did you see the MX-5s? But of course you were in it. And so you saw that several drivers, I'm not going to name any names because I already named the names on the stream the other day, were very much taking the liberties with the track limits. And yeah, it looks like a few drivers have decided to do that as well today. Some drivers already on many incidents. Let me see what the incidents are looking like. At the moment, George Simmons and William Daniels have 14. One more will get them both disqualified. Christian Rose 13, Nathan Davis 12, 11 for Mark Westwood, Scott Malcolm, Kip Stevens, Burns, Holmes and Smith. And then 10 for Rushworth, Blackhall, McIntyre, Foggy, Simpson and Glatzel. And then 9 for Brown, Newman, Cunniff and Martin Front. So there's a lot of drivers suffering here. It's still got 3.5 laps to go. Some of these guys are on literally one incident point already. I honestly think this is off tracks though. Looking at the actual timing screen that I've got here, obviously that you've got as well, the incidences of off tracks are quite high. We've got 4 or 5 drivers with over 10 separate 1Xs, so they're obviously just pushing it to the very limit. I don't necessarily agree with that, Marco, but I guess if it works for them, it works for them. If they get to the end of the race without being disqualified, I guess that's kind of what your incidents are for, even though, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of that kind of driving, but, you know, that's how it is, I guess.
Well,
I get the incidents organically. I don't have to go off the track on purpose to do it.
Yeah, like, I don't remember if it was a race 2 or race 3 in the MX-5s, but basically I was with 15X come lap 2, as we see
Sven Glatzel.
there. Yeah,
Sven Glatzel's dropping down the order.
Yeah, we see. I think he got maybe a slowdown. He's in the Spa, he's on the left side of the Spa.
Oh, Scott Malcolm. I wonder if he's collided with Scott Malcolm. Let's have a look. We'll see the replay and we'll see what we can get. I think those two may have collided. No replay, okay. No problem. There's no replay then. Side by side in Eau Rouge though. Oh. Goodness me, that's Sedgwick, isn't it? With Sven Glatzel?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. As they are going now together, almost 3 wide there, through the Camel Straight, slightly pushing up the hill. Oh, be careful, guys. That was a very scary moment now.
Oh.
Braking hard.
Oh, bang.
Yeah.
Stevens and Glatzel.
Another contact there. 2 by 2.
Very small contact that second time, but
disqualified.
Disqualified. Yeah, it's got to be for Sedgwick. He was very low on the incidents. Jack Sedgwick out of the race. Stevens pushing his way past Glatzel, although Glatzel can definitely dish it out as well. We know that. This is very close now. Stevens can't defend now, surely, and there's an Apex car off. There's someone in the background with big connection issues as well. I think it's one of the. Oh, I don't know who that was actually. Might be Burns. Is it with the connection issues? I can't tell.
Oh,
Oh no, Burns is in this group actually. You can see the blue car 27.
Yeah.
Bradley Burns in his first meeting in the history of the competition.
People are pushing into each other through Puon. That's crazy stuff.
I wouldn't like to do that. I don't think. Oh Burns, that was very brave turning in there. I wouldn't have done. That was super brave. Just about cleared Martin front. Behind front is Smith and then it's Holmes. Bit of connection issue for Martin. He's got a big run here on Burns though. See if you can do it. He's gone through Blanchimont already. I think there's going to be a move here, surely. Oh, he's going to the outside this time. Oh, drifting the car on the way in, under braking. Oh, that's clumsy between the three of them. Out goes Burns, out goes Glatzel.
Yeah, 2 for the price of 1 there.
Buy one, get one free. That's it. And that means that Paul Smith gains a couple of positions. Oh, somebody sliding through Eau Rouge. I don't want to even look at that and see who that was, because I mean that sounded pretty severe. This is George Simmons defending from Pete Newman. We've got 2 laps to go here. Sutton still leads by 4 seconds over Ross McFarlane, who's 3 seconds ahead of Cunniff. Wojciech Savidovic going through on the inside into Lacombe, going past Brown. Yeah, that's a good move there by the 3-time champion. Here comes George Simmons, car 3. I thought Brian Holmes was car 3. I think they must have changed the numbers around, because I'm sure Holmes was car 3 earlier on in the season. Here comes...
I remember the previous round, Wojciech had number 4 for whatever reason on his car.
so it's a nonsense then, really, is it? There's nothing going... I have no idea. Simmons!
Disqualified, I think.
Yeah, he's been disqualified, that's correct. Certainly disqualification for Simmons.
They are dropping like flies in this race 3. Already a few disqualifications and we still have 1.5 laps to go in this race.
But again, and I'm not targeting this at any driver in particular, because a lot of them are doing it, but this is what happens when you get so many 1Xs. Yeah. You just don't have any spare, or if there's a car contact and you've got 2 Xs left, then that's your 4 Xs and that's you out. Not as many X's as Jerry the King Lawler has.
I did the final 2 laps of one of the races with MX-5s the other day with 19 X's and the limit is 20. So I did this final 2 laps in terror.
We all know that. We all know what that's like, and that's the thing. Oh no, that's not very good at all. That's Harrod and Cunniff, and that was clumsy as. And McNally now tries to take advantage of Harrod. I think Harrod just went too deep into the corner. It's not like he just tried to turn in, and there was a car still there. You know, you can't really turn in until the car on the inside has done that. Ash Sutton's been off the road, but he's back on. He's got 13 hot tracks. He could get disqualified if he's not careful on the final lap. Incident count for our race leader. Apparently he's only 10, but it says he's been off the track 14 times. Don't ask me how that works. But there you go.
Well, he doesn't need to push because he knows the gap to the guy behind is 5 seconds, so you just need to be careful. But
he's actually
sometimes,
got plenty of incidents left.
Yeah, when you try to be careful.
We see. Yeah, in front. Yeah. It's Cunniff and Foggy. Foggy up into 3rd place. Going through and Colin Cunniff's championship leader there, Nico Foggy. He's going to extend his advantage here. He's ahead of Stephen Baxter. Baxter's in 9th place actually. That's where he started. Good race for Alex Simpson, 7th place. Wojciech Savidovic, 8th. Dave Baker up to 11th from 17th. Diogo Melro, 10. Jacobo Lopez up 21 places. He's just overtaken Jack McIntyre. Michael Davis up 18. Paul Smith and Ronald Moons up 11 and 12 as well. Those are your movers. Foggy's up 12 as well. He started in 15th place. We're on the final lap, Marco, and look at this gaggle going into Puon. Jacobo Lopez on the inside.
Yeah, and once again, I think most of these guys are right there on the verge of disqualification, so you have to be extremely careful with side contact.
These two raced with each other as far back as 2013, I believe, in this series, and Laidler and Lopez. Might give Laidler some added incentive to go into battle with him. But here comes Ash Sutton, then he's going into Blanchimont already. Here he is through the fast corner, fast left-hander, and into the bus stop chicane for the final time. Been a really, really good performance. The first one was tense, the second was domination. Ash Sutton takes his second win of the evening here in the BSRTC. He takes his 12th of the season and wins here at Spa-Francorchamps. Ross McFarlane, brilliant second place. Nick O'Foggy in third. Then Cunniff, Harrod, McNally, it looks like, and Simpson. Svidovic, Baxter and Baker look like they're going to be the top 10. This is for just outside the top 10. Oh, contact between Williams. Oh, and that's disqualification for Newman. On the final corner, Pete Newman is out of the race. And he will be furious with that.
Yeah,
he will be absolutely furious.
There will
That's
be
probably
some
Walker would say.
very angry drivers at the end of this race. As we see,
I mean, I don't know really. I didn't quite see what happened. It could well have been his own fault, in which case he'll still be furious, but with himself and not with the other drivers. Everybody has actually crossed the line. That's how close it was. Is that everybody's already finished? We've barely finished for 20 seconds, and everybody's over the line. That's fantastic.
Yeah, 28 finishers, and from 29th onwards, we are dealing with people that have retired. So I think everybody has crossed the start-finish line for this race 3.
Yeah, another good race. Probably not as good as the first two, but that had a lot to live up to. Ash Sutton takes the win by 5.4 seconds ahead of Ross McFarlane. Nick O'Foggy in third, Colin Cunniff fourth, Pete Harrod in fifth, then Adam McNally in sixth, Alex Simpson seventh, Wojciech Svidovic eighth, Stephen Baxter in ninth, and Dave Baker in 10th. Going down the list there, Melrose, Brown, Johnson, Williams, Davis, Lopez, Laidler, McIntyre in 18th, and Blake and Rushworth rounding out the top 20. There were 28 finishers. It went all the way down to Christian Rose. And then there were 2 cars 1 lap down, Pete Newman and Brian Holmes. As we saw, Newman got disqualified. I would assume that Holmes might have got disqualified as well. I don't know for sure. He had a high incident count, so it looks like he could have done. The retirements then, let's list them. Simmons, Daniels, Burns, Glatzel, Sedgwick, Malcolm, Westwood, Deemer, Sakovic, Graham, Wood, Butler, and Michael Hall was out really after one corner. I think that was the issue at the beginning.
Yeah, that big crash, and when we thought everybody went through the Eau Rouge corner, well, it wasn't, and there were people rolling all the way up the hill, which is an impressive feat. But on a serious note, some fantastic racing tonight. A little bit more subdued at the front in this race 3, but the battles all over the field were fantastic. And I don't like the, incident limit disqualifications in iRacing, but I have to say it adds a little bit of tension when you're commentating and knowing that the next contact between 2 guys could make them retire. So it's always exciting. I don't know if in a good or in a bad way when races at Spa-Francorchamps take place and in the final few laps you don't know who's going to get disqualified and who's going to survive.
Again, no, this is why, in my opinion, you've got to keep that incident limit. You've got to keep something spare, just in case you get a crash at the end of the race. Because we've seen how many times that can that happens. You just get a little nudge, and this is the it's a good thing about it. Obviously the safety rating is fantastic. I think the main problem that the system has is obviously it obviously cannot apportion blame, and that's like that on nearly every sim that you get with a system like this. But for instance, if you just nudge someone and then for instance they end up quarter paneling another guy into the wall, that will give you a 4x then, whereas it might have only given you a 0x. So that's why you have to have those incident points, I think, in hand, just in case you have to you have to get into a battle on the last lap. So to me, having 11, 12, 15 incidents or whatever isn't potentially the greatest thing in the world, but I think this is the reason why the limit's there. I think the drivers have to stick within it.
Yeah, especially in a place like this. In other places you can be a little more lenient, but at Spa-Francorchamps it must be a priority if you want to finish the race, especially in the Kias where we are going to have battling all the way through.
Well, we didn't have any drivers to talk to, and now we do. Nathan Davies joins in the commentary box, mate. How are you doing?
Good evening, man.
Now then, it's been a long time since I've chatted to you. We actually used to work together on a couple of these broadcasts. How's it been?
Yeah, it's not been too bad. I've just been quiet, haven't I?
Yeah, that's unusual for you, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. You should hear the group chat. Oof.
I tell you, I don't want to know. 15th place in that last race, 10 positions gained. It looked like you had a lot of fun out there, and don't take this the wrong way, but you had a lot more straight panels on the car than normal.
I did. I took a different mentality into today, just trying to get to the end, and I actually finished 3 races. I'm not quite sure what happened.
You look like you had good pace out there anyway.
The pace was okay.
Do you think the overcast conditions helped you, or because I know some drivers really like them, some don't?
Yeah, my pace isn't so great in the warmer temperatures, so I guess that helped today. Yeah, I don't generally go very quickly around Spa, but for some reason today it was pretty good. So yeah, it was pretty happy, pretty chuffed with that. 3 top 15s.
I think sometimes though, Spa's the kind of track where actually you drive a bit smoother and maybe you drive a little bit slower, and actually it kind of gives you the time back because it's all about getting good exits, and that's the main thing. The worst. I'm terrible for braking too late, for instance, into the first corner and then wrecking the rest of the the straight. So
no,
maybe it helps.
About that. I wouldn't know anything about that. I mean, I hardly ever crash, as you guys know, so
Oh no, I've never seen it personally. Hey, well, going through the rest of the season, then obviously I think this has been a much better season than the previous one. Anyway, I would think that's fair to say.
Yeah,
you're still without that race win.
I am.
Do you think you can get it before the end of the season?
I'd love to. That would be great. I mean, I haven't. It feels like years, because it has been. It's been 2 years.
Was it Barber? Did you get a win at Barber?
No, I had a podium in my first ever event at Barber, but yeah, no wins.
That was when you were driving the old green car.
That's right, you got me. Yeah, wow, you got a good memory, haven't you? I'll have to remember that.
There you go.
But yeah, no, it's been good. Like I said, I brought a different mentality into this event, like I did for the showdown last year, and that's what I'm hoping to take forward for the rest of the year now. So hopefully I can bag a few more finishes. It's nice when you get to the finish,
Yeah, it is, and I don't often reach it. But yeah, thanks for popping in anyway. Who do you want to say a big thank you to for tonight?
Well, of course, Apex Racing TV is a great team to be with, and yeah, Alex is a great boss. He has his moments, mind. But yeah, no, everybody, everything's all good. Shout out to everybody who watches me. You know who you are.
There you go. All right, thank you very much for joining us, Nathan, and we'll see you next time, mate.
Cheers now, bye-bye.
Also joined the commentary box then by our co-conspirator, Alex Simpson. Hello, mate.
Hello.
Now,
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much.
Got to get it in.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
You're lucky I didn't come in singing. That'd have scared everyone off.
That might have done. I've not heard you singing. That could have been interesting, couldn't it? We'll have to see. Well, we might have to see if we can find the karaoke when we're in Germany. But I will say that I don't know if this is fair or not, to be honest. But it didn't seem like you had great pace out there today. But you did finish 3 races, and I guess that was the main objective for you.
Pace felt pretty good actually. First race, I just couldn't get by. I was just massively held up. In race 2, I'm playing a numbers game at the end of the day now, so I'm not trying to move forward or anything in that. And then in race 3, yeah, first lane sort of checked up, but then had a lot of fun and moved forward, and I think I sort of showed that pace that I did have in the end there, because I was able to catch back up to people and hunt them down, get by them and things like that. So I was relatively quick. I would have said sort of in the top 5 today. Didn't have a very good qualifier. Messed up the first lane lap, and it just sort of put me on the back foot.
It seemed like it was a decent meeting for the team. Sorry.
Yeah, I felt really good. Like saying, car felt really good. I was able to do moves and everything. So yeah, team meeting went pretty well. I think we had a couple of little issues in the final race, but apart from that, everybody else finished every other one. So yeah, it was a good meet.
So was it just that little bit of extra caution that you'd say just helped out a little bit, just made sure you got to the end?
Yeah, it's
'Cause you had a lot of
it's-
incidents in the final race, I noticed.
well, I was just sort of going for it,
Were you just getting 1x's, were you?
Exactly, yeah, just going for it and just trying to punt down. So, but yeah,
You
I
said
think
punt then. I thought you said
no, hunt.
trying to punt them, punt them down.
Hunt. But yeah, the rest of the meeting was the Dave Baker School of Driving. I think really just doing your thing. Got into that showdown position, and then I don't want to try and give that away now. So
All right. Well, I think consistent driving to the end of the season should definitely give you a good chance. Thanks, mate, for joining us as usual, and we'll see you at the next one.
cheers.
Yes. Paul Smith joins us here.
Hello.
Hello, mate.
I wasn't
We saw.
expecting that.
No, sorry. We saw a couple of slightly sort of dodgy moments during the evening for you. One that was probably not your fault, and one that might have actually been your fault.
Are you talking about race 2?
There was one in race 2 that definitely wasn't your fault, and then the one in race 3 might have been.
Well, let's just say the one in race 2 where I got turned by Kip into the wall was pretty much exactly the same as what happened with me and Lee Deemer in race 3. So it'll be interesting to see what the consistency of the stewarding is for those two incidents.
Oh dear.
But yeah, other than that, it was a.
Well, Kia stands for Kip International Assistance. You didn't know that.
Does. But it was an interesting evening nonetheless. Good result for the team in race 2, Team Mad. So hats off to them. Well, apart from me, but still. Yeah, can't complain. Finished 2 races, which is about the par really for the series.
So, how do we feel about the season going forward then? Because it's been a decent one. Obviously, we missed a few races. That's why you're down in 25th. 26th overall. Obviously, focusing on the teams championship. Do you think you can get it done at the end of the season?
Well, it's all about the showdown, isn't it? And we've learnt that throughout the years. I've learnt that the hard way as well throughout the years of the showdown, going in leading and then ended up nowhere near for the title, because that showdown, it's pointless really, battling all the way through. It's just all about making it into the showdown, and once you're in there, that's when the real hard work starts.
It's kind of a false economy almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes the regular season, because it's sort of, you fight so hard week in, week out, and then you don't really. I've always thought, and again, I'm not slagging anyone off here. I've always thought that you don't get quite enough points for how well you do in the regular season.
Really? Have you seen how many points are awarded throughout the season?
No. I mean when you
big enough gap in the
when you get to the showdown, I don't feel like you get enough points there. I don't feel like you get enough points over the rest of them. If you had a 500-point lead, you wouldn't get a gigantic amount of points back, would you? You still get less than one DNF's worth of points.
Yeah, effectively, yeah.
So, which I always think's a little bit dodgy. But I know you want to keep it close towards the end of the season, and that's the thing, isn't it?
It's just the broadcast entertaining. That's all they care about.
We do. We care about that sort of stuff. So, I did actually say in this broadcast that Yorkshire was better than Wales.
True.
So I hope you appreciate that.
Well, that's because it's a fact.
Yes, I agree. And with that, I'll make a swift exit. And don't hurt me. Don't hurt me, all the Welsh people.
Happy birthday, by the way, Andrew.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thank you for that. Thank you. I appreciate that. One more year left before the 3-0.
Oh, you're a wee bairn compared to me.
Wee bairn. That's it. But no, I've had a good day. So I'm happy. And so Paul, obviously, you need to give a shout out to your sponsors, mate.
Oh right, yeah. We've got a new logo on the car for this week. It's the Simon Racing Report podcast. If you want to check them out, check out Johnny and his podcast, and it's www.thesimonracingreport.com. And if you listen to this week's podcast, you might recognise somebody's voice on there.
It's very good. I've listened to it before. I haven't listened to this week's one yet, but it's been good in the past.
But so check that one out. And also thanks to the usual Calder Rescue, to Phoenix Racing, and of course to Small Time Productions.
Perfect. Thank you very much, mate. We'll see you next time. Paul Smith there, Marco, and overall, I know you've only joined me for the one race, but I know you watched the other ones, and well, I think that was a good fun meeting. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely, and next week, of course, the BSRTC is coming to my country, and I'm absolutely happy because it's going to be Monza before the week 13 break that we usually get. So
Yes.
the drivers will have the chance to once again experience the beauty of driving in the draft of one another for long straights, but without the beautiful corners of Spa. Yeah, I don't like Monza, but it's my home track, so of course it's always an honor when the BSRTC comes to Monza and Imola. And of course we can expect, well, more chaos, I think, because, yeah, here we have some corners that really put drivers in the center stage. You have to know how to drive. At Monza, it's straight chicane, straight chicane, straight chicane. So, you know, that's a perfect recipe for trouble, and it's going to be, I think,
Yes.
survival of the fittest in 1 week's time.
Yeah, indeed. I think I think it's all about, you know, who can survive, and I think it's possible I might be racing next week as well. We will see, depending on what gets done. But we'll have a look, and we'll be able to say a big ciao tutti to everybody by crashing into them, no doubt. So, right, thank you very much, everybody, for watching this evening's action from the BSRTC. I've been Andrew Woodhouse. I've been joined by Marco Barbanera. Sam Kumo's been doing the cameras all night, so well done to him for all that. And from all of us here, it's good night from Spa-Francorchamps, and we'll see you next week at Monza.